Bliss and Power, Bliss and Power, every minute, every hour. It's funny because right when I was about to record this video, daggone car alarms went off. And if I was a conventional man, that would have deterred me from recording, that would have prevented me from recording when I'm about to record. But I'm still going to record it anyway because I'm not a conventional man. I'm in tune with the infinite. But what I'm about to say is very counterintuitive, I think, to this social paradigm. But it kind of is what it is. So what I'm going to say is, why the banning of prostitution ruined the preservation of the feminine energy in America. And it's very obvious when you say it, but sometimes people may not actually think about it and may not put it in perspective because they live in this world of duality and a polarity based off of the parameters that a social paradigm put in place prior to them being born. So we were born into these rules and regulations that people have been told and been reinforced into, that these certain rules are right and these certain rules are wrong. And if you violate these rules that are considered to be wrong, then you could potentially, at this point, especially in the Western world, it's associated to being a villain, or being a hellspawn, or being a demon, or being of the devilish path, and having a sinful nature and doing something that is wrong. And you will endure punishment because of you doing something wrong. So they've tied all of these things up into this morality complex that people on the surface try to adhere to, or attempt to adhere to, or say they adhere to, but oftentimes they don't, and they pick and choose the things they want to adhere to, and then they choose to vilify those things in public that they feel, like they can stand on and say, oh well, they can frown on these things and feel like they are superior in some shape or form. But going back to the root of the subject, it's interesting, because to say that, why would I say that the banning of prostitution and the banning of the woman selling her body, I guess you could say, for profit, is making it an illegal activity, ruined the feminine energy in America? Because what it did was it caused a lot of women, I should say, would choose to, let's say they just had to step into spaces where they may not have been comfortable in, and over time those spaces have become comfortable for women to operate in, as far as securing jobs and taking care of the household and handling the responsibilities of upholding the household. They've had to step into different jobs and different roles that typically probably wouldn't have even been assigned to them, but because of the desire to want to provide and the need to have to provide, and also that rising of a different type of feminine energy to not want to subject themselves to the I guess just the kindness of a man, as far as like how he would tip her or what he would give to her based off what she's doing for him. The woman not wanting to be in that space, she's chosen to operate in different types of jobs and like I said, do different types of things to provide for herself and her family. So this has created quite a situation. So if there was not that type of morality code in effect, there will be a lot more women that are doing the things that they're doing in private. They would do it in public, and it wouldn't be such a perversive viewpoint in it. So now it would open up the door to a lot more, I guess, clear communication when it comes to relationships and the different type of relationships that could be had. Because we live in a social paradigm to where a lot of things, when it comes to the household and the family construct, they're being disrupted because of this element of lack of control and lack of commitment and honoring commitments and stuff. And these things are certainly real and actual, but they're also like as real as the person makes them and as convicting as the person makes them. So it allows the ability to, depending on the person, to have more understanding to circumstance and not such a really big hard wall towards a lot of things and a lot of behavior, because there will be different types of understanding in place, different type of ceiling of comprehension, of human comprehension in place. So yeah, a lot of women would be doing a lot more feminine jobs, and they would have they would have been able to stay in their feminine energy as far as being homemakers. There'd be many more homemakers and women that are still in the arts and in the crafts. Being a homemaker in various sorts, having gardens, like I said, taking care of the home, they would have much more energy for the home because they would be at home and they would be provided for based off of the types of men that they would choose to have in their lives and how those men would choose to take care of them. Because that man, whoever the men are going to be in your lives, we know that these men, we always take care of the women that are in our lives. We always do this. So you know that if a woman has a more of an open type of relationship with a man, she may be he may not live with her, but they have a relationship. They've had a relationship for years. He's going to take care of what he can take care of. You know what I mean? And it's going to be a mutually beneficial affair. So it's the vilification of this type of relationship and calling it, a woman, selling her body or she's using her body in an immoral way, and then this woman choosing to lean on the government and choosing to use the government as leverage. That same woman, people would say that one is worse than the other, but who was to say that? Who was to say that one is worse than the other? Who was to say that they're not the same things? If one woman is choosing to use her body to take care of her family, because these are the cars that maybe her husband transitioned or something like that, and she had to start figuring out how to take care of her family. She had a few kids. Her husband transitioned, they didn't have no insurance. Now she got to figure out a way to take care of her kids. They got their babies, you know what I mean? So she has to figure out what to do. And sometimes women they're in these situations, Lord forbid anybody be in that situation. I'm just saying these are things that happen. She may not have the means to be able to work a job, or can't have a babysitter for her children to work a job. So what does she do? So I'm not justifying things. I'm just saying that a lot of women, they've had to hide a lot of feminine expression for various ways, and because of that, it's caused that imbalance in that expression. but I'm not saying that there's not feminine women out here. There's a lot of feminine women out here. I'm just speaking about the dynamic of energy that's being expressed in the Western social paradigm, and how this vilification of this type of service to the community, this type of service to express herself, how she desires to express herself. Because there's various types of women. There's various types of women, and people try to put on this cover and this front like there aren't women who just have high levels of sexual energy and want to be pleased by multiple men all the time. I mean, this is the type of woman that she is. I mean, who would say that she shouldn't be that type of woman? That's what she. So she could be a woman that wants multiple partners and chooses to have multiple partners. And she may not always make love to those partners at the same time. She may sometimes, but that's her prerogative. That's what she wants to do, and they take care of everything for her, and she takes care of whatever they need. Whatever they need. So but people will say that that's wrong. And so it goes hand in hand with polygamous relationships and this sort of prostitution being immoral, or this woman using her body for her profit or her gain being immoral. Then it causes her to use her. If a woman doesn't use her body and use her feminine energy and use her ability to not seduce, but I think that's entrance a man and people and cause them to do her bidding, then she's forced to do her bidding with her own hands. And this is going to obviously, once again, her own hands and her own feet, and having to really get out there and go and get it in different types of environments that may not have been ideally set up for her to work in. But she can, because she's a woman, she can do anything. But that doesn't mean that it's most ideal. So I think those things go hand in hand when it comes to just expression of energy, and also the variation of relationships in communities and whatnot. And this feeling like one could judge a type of relationship adverse and say that it shouldn't be done, causes there to be a lot of limitations. And like I said, there's a lot of need and desire for various types of relationships in these communities, not just the traditional and conventional ones, because those aren't even working, and it's apparent that they're not working. So it's it's in our best interest to look in other angles, look at other ways to expound on our home dynamics, so we can have more fruitful homes, because everybody's being satisfied and communication is clear, and people are being fulfilled because they're aligned with partners that understand them, and that's what this is all about. So in a nutshell, I just want to show love. I send prayers and send blessings to everybody. May you keep growing, may you keep having abundance to show up in your world in various ways, and miracles keep happening for you. May you continue to be housed and clothed and be fed and be nourished, and may you have overflow in your world and be able to share with others. I send you many blessings and love in everything that you do. Bliss and power every hour. Keep committed to your great. I love you.